In his first book, The All-Knowing Diary, author Daniel Rechnitzer expanded our horizons, teaching us just how powerful we are and how our belief systems are creating our very reality, driving our finances, dictating our health, and steering our every decision. Now, in his latest book, Mind Lies and the Truths That Will Set You Free, Daniel delves deep into the human psyche, smashing through mind lies, freeing us from the very subconscious belief systems holding us back. Brace yourself for the ride of your life as you come face to face with the truth about who and what you really are. Check out these highlights from the book.
Hello, welcome back. So in this Mind Lie, we're going to be looking at the belief I have to fight and compete to succeed. Now, for a long time, we as a society have believed that competition is necessary, that it makes humanity stronger, the whole survival of the fittest scenario. Well, like many other human belief systems, this one has reached its expiry date. Because it's not competition that actually makes us stronger, but rather collaboration. But collaboration at a whole new level, in a way that very few of us have ever seen or even know about. So now, many do argue that we are all growing from needing to fight to get what we want, and that it actually works. But don't get distracted by this such a mediocre approach, because there is a better way. And it's raising its hand right now saying, pick me, pick me, pick me. You know, we observe fight and competition in nature, and so we often draw upon the animal kingdom to try and understand human behavior. Yet we have our own laws, not separate from nature, just more evolved than what we see in the animal kingdom, that nurtures human beings. Now, these are laws of sustainability and evolution. Now, first of all, sustainability does not come from competition, and all we have to do is look around and we can see that. Yes, we can evolve because of competition, but evolving this way comes at an even greater cost to sustainability, so much so that they're cancelling each other out. And that's what we are witnessing and facing in the here and now all over the world. To collaborate, on the other hand, means that we are working together for a common goal or purpose, which actually creates more for everyone. And to compete comes from, if I don't fight, I'll not have enough, I'll miss out, fail, or I'll die. Now, coming from this space, as many of you may have learnt from these videos so far, is very destructive, and this space is socially and environmentally eroding. But the true path, the path unencumbered by and no longer generated by mind lies, is unlike anything we have seen on Earth. It's not a socialist system or a communist system or least of all a capitalist system. It's because none of these systems that we've witnessed to date are actually about bringing people into alignment with their higher purpose. Maybe to what they want or what they think they need, but not their higher purpose. Hence why we still all feel we need to fight and compete for what is ours or should be ours, because we haven't come from a higher purpose. To allow one's purpose to be the driver in life on an individual level, and then naturally on a collective level, means that fulfillment, rather than accomplishment, becomes the driving force. What's the difference, you may ask? When we base our decisions on what's going to bring fulfillment, we naturally come into flow with the universe, for the simple reason that what brings greatest fulfillment simultaneously serves the greater purpose. It's how we've been programmed. So whereas pursuing accomplishment or gains or any other physical things generated from greed neglects fulfillment. leaving each person empty inside. So we think we are pursuing fulfillment, we are chasing money or accolades and various accomplishments, but we're not, we're still coming from mind lies. And in truth, we are coming from I am unfulfilled. The mind lie, I am unfulfilled. And coming from this space keeps that as the status quo. So our lack of fulfillment perpetuates greed and other self-destructive tendencies, because surely if I am discontent, I must need more and more and more. Where truly fulfilled people actually have far less needs than those who are unhappy with the life they are living. This is why, if we pursue fulfillment above all else, creates balance and abundance. So collaboration represents what is the highest good in all. So much so that collaboration at this level is actually a byproduct of acting in the individual's highest good. So in simple terms, collaboration is a naturally occurring phenomenon when all individuals act in their highest good. And that is from their truth, not their mind lies. It's because the universe is self-organizing. It doesn't require our intervention for it to prosper. It takes our participation. So the more we fight, the more we are actually moving out of alignment from that self-organizing intelligence, from what generates greater success. True collaboration doesn't even need to be initiated. It will happen by itself. And we see this all the time in UI, in our organization, because individuals are being trained on how to come from their highest good. And so they naturally gravitate towards fulfilling a need humanity has. So as they gravitate, groups are formed based on these common life purposes, without anyone even trying to form the group. It happens without effort and without a fight. So this new evolution of collaboration creates a perfect middle ground, if you like, as we are no longer coming from I must fight and compete to get what I want, and nor are we coming from I'm not worth fighting for or getting what I want, being the doormat. In this divine space, it is the embracing of I play a perfect role. And the more I nurture this and myself, the more I become. And the more I become, the more I get to have and the more I get to experience. This, ironically, creates more for everyone, generally, and it uplifts human consciousness at the same time. Whereas fighting is a resistance to what already is. But recognizing your true gift, what we all have within us, that you even have a gift would be a good start, and allowing this to steer your path creates what you want much faster. To move away from this will create the need to fight to get what you want. It's like a train who has this perfect path, this smooth journey, the tracks, and when it wants to get off the tracks, well, the minute it does that, it becomes disconnected from its path. It's going to be met with a much harder journey. Hills, traffic, rubble, all these things that make that journey really unpleasant. So to create the smoothest path for us all comes from not forcing that change outside, but making the change within. When you find yourself needing to fight and compete, ask yourself, what within myself am I resisting? And it's being mirrored back to me as an outward resistance. What is my truth? And how do I return to it? These are very powerful questions. You'd be amazed at how situations around you shift and change, and how people change around you to support you when they are opposed to you when we make that shift within ourselves. We're actually very powerful at affecting our outward universe. So fighting is for those who don't realize that the universe is behind you all the way. It's for those that fear lack, fear missing out, and fear failure. If you trusted, you would be in the universal flow where harmony exists. Trust is the absence of fighting. To fight to win is like running to stay still. Fight or struggle is an act of aggression to yourself, not another. Whereas to be in the flow is where the abundance is found. That's coming from self-love. To resist flow is where the fight and struggle is found. But what do we really know about flow? How many people are actually in it? Very few. It's because struggle and fight is all around us. So many of us, even as children, had to fight for our place in the household. To be able to play, to be able to eat, we had to fight, or to be counted and noticed. But another path is available, one that does not come from the mind lies, but deep truths about our existence here on earth. For one, fighting always causes wastage of energy and often resources. It's an inefficient way to get what you want. To flow with the universe creates abundance for all. The universe doesn't believe in wastage, and so it's created these particular paths, these perfect pathways, like those train tracks, for our growth and success. It's our resistance to these pathways that leads to struggle and fight. But how do we know we don't have to fight when that's really what we've always done and that's what we've always known? Well, fight and struggle is the product of resistance to our true selves. And when we come from resistance, we are coming from mind lies. When we are being our truth, there will be an absence of resistance. It's not part of our experience. And in this space, things happen. Opportunities are in abundance. Life works. All those synchronicities and coincidences come together. The fight comes from thinking we are in control. We are not. The only control we can truly exert in our life is the surrendering of control. We are either in the flow without control, or we are out of the flow believing we are in control, yet still not being in control. The bigger our need for control, the more we are inadvertently sabotaging our path, making life far, far more difficult than it needs to be. Control is not needed. The reason control is not needed is because it's the mind lie. It's a non-truth version of you that's seeking control in the first place. Doesn't realize it's connected to something greater. This you, the mind lie version, never really existed and still doesn't in an absolute sense. And so how can you give control to something that isn't real? The universe would never do that. A lot of people confuse, this surrendering to this path with quitting or being lazy or being apathetic. Yet, it's quite the opposite. Because to quit is to abandon hope in yourself and the universe and play small. Yet surrender is to abandon the you of the mind lies, the small you, in order to become the real version of you, which is infinitely larger than that old version. So we are trading in what's not real for what is real, and trading what's mediocre for what's truly significant. It's anything but apathy, because apathy is the shadow version of surrender. It's saying, I have no power and I don't even care what happens to me. That's an exclusion of your true self, not the embracing of your true self. And that kicks your true self out of the body instead of welcoming them with a warm embrace. A lot of our ambitions, are not necessarily that of our true self. A lot of them are coming from our mind lies. Most of them, in fact. Your need for admiration or accolades, the need for validation and accomplishment, your fears and so forth are not your truth. So yes, the path that we will live from surrendering may vary differently to the path that we have in mind, that we have planned for ourselves. But this is a good thing, because to follow the plans from the mind lies may give you the life your head thinks you want, but it will leave a gaping hole in as far as what your heart wants. And you can test this out and travel the long route to realize this on your own. Alternatively, you can surrender to an intelligence, a knowing intelligence that already knows the best, most fulfilling path for you. So start putting the question out there to the universe and within yourself. What is the perfect flow for me? How can I best surrender? What do I need to let go of? How do I let go? And best of all, what do I have to look forward to when I do? This best possible life has already been figured out. It's time to get out of the way so you can really enjoy the ride, but this time with ease and with grace. We'll see you again soon.